get into reactionary real quick.
Okay.
Because I want to get into the topic that everybody is fucking talking about.
Okay.
And I know because you a monogamous hoe.
I am.
We could have this conversation. I want to play a clip. Omarion sat down recently.
Oh, God.
And this is what he had to say about Kofi's comments on non-monogamy.
Kofi could be non-monogamous.
I was talking about in my chair for Hot Topics about actor Kofi Saraboh. And he says that he practices ethical non-monogamy. Okay. Do you think that's a good idea, ethical non-monogamy?
Well, I will say I'm in agreement. You know, I don't know all of the backstory of those words, but I would say
ethical
for me,
non-monogamy.
Being open is important, and also, you know, the women just truly outnumber the men. You know what I mean? And this is
you're supposed to have. Is this like an all-you-can-eat buffet over here?
No, let me
go on, explain. I'm not jumping on you.
Let me just say, it's only a few good men. It's only a few good men.
Right.
You know,
This is
and whether or not it's a physical thing, you know, we end up fostering the next generation as well. So why not have our queens or the women? Because I was raised by all women.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
And let me bring this
why
back,
not have
and
our
I
queens aligned with that? That it takes a village. It's not going to just be one man. You know, you could get married. That man still ain't going to be just your man. He's going to be, you know, there for his daughter. He's going to be there for his mom, his grandmother.
You know what? It's always a nigga that dips
this
the
concept
tips
isn't
of the
really
dreads.
foreign. It's just a little old, you know, and it's meant to be upgraded. And I love this conversation because I think when men are open and honest that they don't want to have just this one thing for the rest of their life, it gives a woman an opportunity to choose.
Lex.
It's crazy because I just had a conversation with Jesse Wu about this yesterday. So I think the problem with his views on that is a lot of times American men want to adopt what these the West African men are doing in their homes with polygamy and having multiple wives.
Niggas.
But y'all don't realize that it is a structure, though. They are in one home. They have a community. They're paying the bills. It's not, I got a kid in LA, I got a kid in New York, I got a kid in Houston. Y'all are not. There are still rules and structure to polygamy. You just want to fuck around.
Period.
And that's not what it is.
And the P is for Professor
Hello?
Lex.
Hello now. Don't get me on my Dr. Umar.
Do it.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
So
you're right.
no
You're right.
rice,
No salsa.
as somebody who is, I'm monogamous. I only want to be with one person. But I don't have a problem with people who are poly couples because everybody's mad at Neo right now. Why?
I don't.
He's living in his truth. Because if he was always living in his truth, he wouldn't have drugged Monietta and Crystal through what he did.
Bullshit.
So I do believe that men can identify as poly, but Neo also takes care of all of his girlfriends. You know what I'm saying? I think there's structure to that y'all don't want to do. Y'all can't even take care of little Day-Day.
I think
So how you gonna take
also what it's so my issue with Omarion's response is he says women outnumber men. As
That
if
was
that's the
insane.
reason that men should have multiple
And there's
partners.
only a few good
and
men.
There's only a few good men.
Now, I will say this. I believe that. But women, there are an abundant amount of women that are accepting this lifestyle and aren't fucking non-monogamous. The thing that I think makes the Neo situation strange is, for example, if you asked me today if I could be in a monogamous relationship, I've already been tested and it didn't work for me with someone who was monogamous. It was hospital dick for those listening. It wouldn't work for me today. However, I think if you gave any of Neo's girlfriend the option to be the only one, they would say yes. And I think a lot of women accept situations that they aren't really happy in. I don't know if ethical non-monogamy is something that women are allowed to do on their own. I really don't know any girls other than Mandii and I that I've been living this life for this long.
Well, I will say
Who?
I know one of Neo's girlfriends.
Okay.
And I've known her since I lived in Miami. She is very much her. I think
The main one?
Ariel.
I don't know.
But I've known her since Miami. I'm not saying that she's with Neo because this is what she has to put up with. She's very much living in her life and her truth.
Do you think
And
all of them are?
I think the main one loves it down.
No, probably the one I'm talking about. And I've known her since Miami. I also know one of the baby moms. I know a lot of women, and maybe because I am more in the lifestyle, I do know so many women that really vibe for this shit, that they love being with men and women, and when they can do it together and it's honest and it's fun, they're like, this is the best fucking shit ever.
Yeah.
Like,
Agree,
they
but
have a fucking blast
Where
together.
are they?
I'm telling you, like, the people...
Right. I'm saying we don't see that, Mandii. We see a lot of celebrity men
And
in the
we see
forefront.
it now, and everyone's judging them, saying they can't be happy. Like, I don't think we're the only ones truthfully loving non-monogamy as much as, like, a lot of people that I know are, like, so glad that they don't have to lean into societal's norms of a lifestyle that hasn't worked for them, where they've been betrayed or they had to cheat.
I'm being honest with you. I'm in the same field and world that you're in too, right? I really don't believe there are women that choose this. I don't see it more times than none. I see many non-monogamous relationships fail because women want to change it at some point. All of the girls that I know that married a ball player or got with one and was having fun doing the threesomes, they're tired of it. Like,
yeah,
that ain't my...
Well, I will say I do hear those stories a lot of women sleeping with other women with their man just to make him happy.
To make him happy, yeah.
Now, I will say, because now we're getting into another topic, because a lot of these women are doing these things because rent due. You know what I'm saying?
That's different.
But what I'm saying is, no, I don't mean literally like sex work. I mean, they're agreeing because they're like, okay, well, at least I don't have to go to work and he gonna pay my bills. Like, you know what I'm saying?
The patriarchy. There's a lot of women that, like, have an advantage by leaning into the patriarchy.
Yeah.
And that's what it has afforded us.
Right.
It is a man providing and you kind of turning a blind eye because you actually are in need of something, not from him. We talked about this in a previous episode. Like, even with my ex, once I became self-sufficient, I loved that I could love a man without needing anything more than who he was as a man.
Right.
Like, I don't need you for provision. I don't need you to pay my bills. I can now take the blinders. I could take the blinders off. And now I can exist as a woman who can choose a partner because I'm happy.
Right.
And to me, and you don't identify with being a lifestyler, a lot of my friends, the couples, the sex club owners, the dungeon owners, a lot of my friends right now are lifestylers who choose this life and
I know
are
they
happy.
exist, Mandii. I'm saying we don't.
I'm saying I know them and I hear it.
Well, I think what she's saying is they're still the minority, though. Like, in women.
And we have couples out that, but then I think, let's be very clear. If a woman comes out and says, yeah, I let my man have sex with other women, everyone on the internet in the comments are going to be like, huh, she must can't pay her rent. She got to do that. She's not happy. There's also a lot of projection on people just assuming that this isn't the life we choose.
Right.
We fought it for the last 8 years of this podcast where they thought that maybe we were leaning into an insecurity or, oh, she must feel like she has to do this to keep a man. I just feel like, and maybe I'm blessed. I'll say it's a privilege to know so many women who have genuinely been able to exist in a relationship where their man having sex with someone else isn't a hindrance. And as a woman who's bisexual, they now get to have fun with a whole bunch of women with their nigga.
Now, where is the other part of the relationship? Yes, they can fuck girls with a man. They can have sex with women too. Do we see women having other relationships with men? No. And that's what I mean about, you watch these niggas on these clips talk about non-monogamy, ethical, this, that. The true language around non-monogamy to me is everybody's engaging. You're either doing it together and it's closed,
right,
or you're both dating.